So there is an offshoot to parental disapproval, a little extra twist on the approval of ourselves and the basic sense of worthiness that we have. And I would like to think that I kind of specialize in this, had a good lineage in it. It's called the need obligate pattern. It starts way back with that birth drama when a child is told by actions as well as sometimes by words that they are dependent and they need the parents. It was a fact. She needed outside assistance to live. Now, if we take that further, it's that life was given to us and that basically we're in debt. And the rest of life is paying off that debt. And ultimately, you finally completely are debt free when you die. So, from this scenario, everything in life is a credit and debit pattern. I learned this early. If many years ago, if Luan would say, "Hey, Jim, I found this great tasting gum. You want a stick of it?" My answer would be, "Oh, I'm fine. Thanks." Because in the back, I know that if I accepted a piece of gum from Luan, I would have a debt. Anything that was given to me had to be put on the debt side of the ledger of life. And so I'd always be thinking now, how can I pay off this debt to Luan for that piece of gum? I mean, I wouldn't consciously think of that, but it would be there niggling at me. Oh, I've got some chocolate covered peanuts. Maybe he would like those in my drawer upstairs. I'll offer him some of those. This was specialized in and taken to a very high degree. Now, I am not saying this as a criticism of my mother. I recognize where this came from, and she was very diligent and very responsible about this. But it got to the point, for example, if someone would come to our house and bring something for dinner, for example, if they were invited over, she'd want to pay them for it. Now you can see how this would be insulting to people afterward, but she had that sense of, oh my goodness, now I am imposing on them by accepting something. They didn't have to stop at the Greeby's bakery to buy donuts, so I'll offer to pay for them. And if they refuse to take money for something they brought, she would sneak the money in their coat pocket. So they would find it on the way home. Or not, but they would have it, and she was debt free. Now you can see remnants of this that I have had Christmas gifts when those were a thing. Well, how much did so and so pay for the Christmas gift? You want to give them something of fairly equal value in return. Or if someone really lavishes you with something, you feel a little uncomfortable. I mean, I feel a little uncomfortable. It's like, oh, too much. Ooh. And no matter how much they protest, they say, no, no, this is just for you. I had this extra $1,000. I didn't get a lot of those, but I had to practice accepting. Thank you, Luan. Thanks for the gum. And just see that as a part of universal give and take. And so that I could also then give without imposing a sense of indebtedness onto the person. Like, what the heck? I invited them to dinner. Well, so this has taken a lot of practice for me. I'm just warning you, because if you offer me something these days, I just might say thank you and take it. But actually, that's really, if someone is giving something freely to you, that's what they want. They want the joy of you just accepting it, not you have to lavish praise and remind them every time oh, that first group, that gum was really great.
Yeah.
And so this type of thing can sneak into the subconscious, and it can be there. But once we become aware of these patterns, now they're not doing their dirty work in the subconscious. At first, it may be embarrassing. Oh, for example, even like I said, I always like to do the exercises when we have them. Even today, how you show disapproval to other people. Oops, that popped out of me. I recognize, oh yeah, I'm extra polite to people and just hold distance, and that kind of gives them the. It's embarrassing to recognize these patterns, but what we got into this for, why we're here and working together on it, is that we can do these things with self forgiveness. We can see them as an opportunity now to lighten the load. And the less we're walking around with the need obligate pattern, the less we're unconsciously communicating that to the world. So you're doing good things by accepting gifts. Actually, Leonard Orr, one time, he was a guy starting breathwork. He says, the world is full of great givers. We're all taught to give and to serve. He says, what we really need now is great receivers. Learn how to receive. We talked about in the prosperity seminar about tithing. He opened himself to tithing. Yeah, send me your money. And I practiced that for a year. Sent him a tenth of my income. The lack sense is like, oh, that's taking away from the family. No, it isn't. You plant the seeds of generosity, not about money, but just your love and your attention. Andy.
So what's coming up for me, Jim, as opposed to something you've said many times, what you're telling me now is that it's not all about getting even.
Right. That's a great expression. I always like that. If you put yourself above someone or below someone, you're setting yourself up in life to get even. And of course, that has the connotation of like, oh, I'm going to get even with you. Well, I'm glad. It's time we get even. Okay. So I endeavored to get rid of the tally sheet of debits and credits in my life. And the way you break that pattern is giving unconditional love. And unconditional love isn't a commodity. Oh, I've got 50 ergs of unconditional love, and I'm going to give some to Carrie, and then I'm going to. No, unconditional love is who we are. It is the fabric of our being. And so we can't get rid of it. It's not going to deplete our coffers. In fact, the more I give unconditional love, the more I recognize that's who I am. That's why it's not even going to increase unconditional. It's going to increase my awareness of unconditional love. No one is going to be more worthy after we complete today than they were before we started. Well, what are we paying you for? Well, it's becoming more aware and more appreciative and more joyous in who we are.